Hello guys, this is a review of the 2020 movie We Summon the Darkness, starring Alexandra Daddario, Amy Forsyth, and Johnny Knoxville. You'd think based on these promotional posters or like this, Blu-ray cover that the other guys are not in the movie as often, but they are. They're a lot more often than this character, but I mean, it sucks that they're not here, but we're gonna do whatever we can with what we have. This movie is an 80s metal horror movie, and it's really cool. I like it. So it's about Alexandra Daddario's character, whose name is Alexis. I only memorized her name. I'm sorry, I should have checked before. And then this is her other friend, and this is her other friend. So 3 friends. They're on the road on their way to a metal concert when out of nowhere some truck throws this brown substance that later they found out is actually chocolate milk. When they get to the concert on the parking lot, they see the same truck and they throw fireworks at it because they had bought fireworks prior to that at a local shop where they were showing on the television screen. They were reporting murders of this satanic cult composed of metal listeners and all these things. And it's like they get there, they do the firework prank, and then 3 guys come out, the 3 guys that are going to be in the movie from beginning to end. And they instantly, you kind of feel like, okay, they're vibing, they're liking each other. At first they kind of want to go, they're like, okay, bye, but they stay with them, they hang out with them, they attend the concert with them, and they drink some beer. At the end of the concert, they're saying goodbye, and they're like, hey, we could still hang out. So Alexis talks to both of her friends, and this one is always very willing to do anything. This one is the one that takes a lot more convincing. So they go over to one of her houses. It's more like a mansion. It's this huge estate, and they walk in, they're having fun, they go out and decide to drink and play a drinking game. While there, she's coming out with some drinks and almost spills them all because another guy played by Keean Johnson, I think. He actually is the actor in the movie Alita, so I'm pretty sure you know who he is, or you could recognize him. And he takes off his jacket so that she won't be cold, because she wet hers, so she has to take hers off. And she notices that there's a blade inside, and she's kind of freaking out. She goes over to Alexis. She's like, he has like a knife, and she's like, be quiet, like calm down, like they're not gonna kill us. Then they play this drinking game of Never Have I Ever, and after going a few rounds, Alexis lets them know that she's drugged them, the 3 guys, and they're like, haha, I don't believe you. But then one by one they start falling down. Then the next scene, they're tied with their hands behind their back, and I think and they're like shirtless and pantless. They just have their underwear on, and they're going to get killed. The first one that gets killed is this guy that just wouldn't shut up, because she's like, he's talking bad about their religion and everything. And that's when they find out that really they are, it's as if you didn't know, they're the bad ones. They're actually Christian or Christians, but they set up in groups so that they could murder or perform these satanic sacrifices so that the media could report on it, and then more people could convert to Christianity in hopes of saving their souls and not doing these crazy things, because they go, if you're not a full Christian worshiper, then you are a devil worshiper, according, to, I mean, 80s, they were some different times back then. Anyway, before they could cut the next one, because one is already dead, this girl's like, wait, I gotta tell you something. Alexis, by then, she's already gone nuts. At the beginning, she's like very composed and everything. It's like just regular, but now she's like just full on crazy. So she tells them, okay, I'll tell you guys in the restaurant. He's like, why not here? Let's go to the bathroom. So they go, and she's like, I want to kill them. But then they hear a thump. And by the time they get back, the other guys have already ran. By the way, the other guy that's not Keean Johnson is the guy that plays the guy that snitches on Simon, on Love Simon. So you could also recognize him. They're all recognized. I recognize their faces, but I just didn't memorize their names, unfortunately. Usually for like the reviews that I do, I don't really have to, because I could just like point like this. It's just sad that the guys are not here. But anyway, they lock themselves in a room, and they Alexis and her friend, they spray them with poison, like this I think raid spray or something like that, and they still won't get out. Then they're like bracing themselves because they're gonna come out and hit them, but they don't. They realize that Alexis's stepmom walks in the mansion, and she lets them know that she called the cops because she saw like strange vehicles parked outside, and she gets mad and ends up killing her because she Alexis's stepmom notices the satanic cult thing that just happened, the murder, and they have to kill her. And then the cops get there, well, just one cop, and it's a very funny scene because he's like, is your stepmom in there? Yeah, but at first she's like, yeah, she just came here to get her passport, and she's on her way. He's like, so is your mom still here? She's like, yeah, she's in there, but she's sleeping. She took some pills. So he's like, but you just said she came to get her passport. And she's like, yeah, but she realized that it was late, and so she just stayed here the night, and then she was gonna go earlier. And he's like, go and get your identification and prove that you are the owner of this property. And while you're on it, I'd recommend that you get your stepmom as well. He's like, no. He's like, go do this. And there's like, excuse me? That's one of the funniest scenes in the whole movie. Because at first she's like, okay, like she's playing the good girl, whatever. And when the cops like, go get your mom. Excuse me? And then it's really funny. You have to watch it because like Alexis's character is so normal. Like if you're around that age and you're like, it's normal, but then she takes a turn at very spontaneous moments, and it's just the funniest thing ever. And she runs back, and the cops follow, obviously dumb cops. They're like, put your hands up to the two guys that are being held hostage. And well, not hostage, they're gonna kill them anyway. So one of the friends, this one, rushes over and kills the cop, takes his gun, and then the other friend, the third friend, who was out in the shed looking for something to break the door with, she didn't want to break any doors. She was actually on their side. She realizes there that there's a whole bunch of money and a lot of information that leads her to finding out that Alexis's dad, who's a very famous pastor that we saw earlier on the TV screen on the local shop, he's actually using all the funds to just build more mansions and just kill more people and get more rich and rich and rich and rich. He's not using it to build shelters or help the people in need. And so she comes back with like a saw, and I think it's a saw or like something, and the guys come out. They realize that she's on their side, but one of them has already been cut bad, the one from Love Simon, so he's bleeding out. And then they separate, and Alexis's dad gets there, and the chase begins. They start fighting each other, they beat him up, they throw Alexis out the window, and by then the other friend, the one that comes out in Love Simon, is already dead, sadly, because he got shot by the pastor. Dumb move. He came outside and he was like, so annoying. But then Keean Johnson, character and this girl right here, they get on the truck and they ride away, and Alexis stands up and they run her over and get to the shop, and they're showing an interview with the pastor who actually survived, and he's like, it was my daughter this whole time, it was her, she was lost. And the girl tells the guy, the shop owner or the guy that works the register, to not believe everything that he sees. Then Keean's character is like, where are we? And she's like, hell for all I know. And they drive away, and that's how the film ends. I'm so happy that, unlike with Crazy, that Crazy's the movie that I reviewed was so amazing, so fantastic, but it's just so long that I can't get into, like, you know, most of the things like I do with, like I can with films like these. And I say these because, like, this one, Perks of Being a Wallflower, even Xena, like, Crazy, it's a whole different genre. This is horror, and Crazy is like coming of age drama, but I really urge you to check out that review, because check out the movie, because the review, I don't feel like it did it justice. Anyway, back to this one. I'm sorry about that. I just had to say it. The acting, I remember reading a lot of criticism for the acting and the plot, and like everything, that the movie was so generic. It has been done so many times. It provides nothing new, and it's not believable. I beg to differ on every single one of them. I thought the movie was great for what it was. You cannot expect a miraculous thing from these type of movies. I mean, they're miraculous in their own way, you know. They really bring a smile to my face. When I watched it the first time, I was into the movie. I was not bored at all. It was fun. It was normal pace. It wasn't fast to where, like, why did they do this? Like, no character development. And a lot of people I read also that they already knew the plot twist. It's like so predictable. I mean, kudos to you psychics out there, or maybe you know a lot more than I do, probably. But I think that when you're watching a movie, it isn't a guessing game. It doesn't have to be a guessing game all the time. For example, I feel like it definitely crossed your mind. It crossed all of our minds that the girls were actually the killers, because they made it out to seem like the guys were the killers. But anything could happen in the movie. Have you watched Game of Thrones? Anything could happen. And you think, well, Game of Thrones is just one of a kind. Sure, I agree with that. But when you're making movies, the writer is in control of everything, and he could change anything in an instant. So you can't swear that you knew, you saw it coming, because you don't know, because anything could happen. They could just lead you to believe that the guys are the killers, so that you think that the girls are the killers, but when really the guys are the killers. And they set up a lot of cat and mouse games throughout the movie. So I'm not surprised that they were the ones who were planning this, but the whole theme, like that, I admit, it wasn't surprised. I was like, oh, I could never. It wasn't like that. But at the same time, the whole story behind their Christian following and everything like that, it's a little bit unexpected. I didn't think that it was gonna have to do with that. I thought it was just gonna be straight up horror, satanic cult, metalhead themed movie. But it wasn't. It threw this ball out of nowhere. And sadly, it's a reality of life. It happens. I'm not gonna sit here and say Christians are bad, because that's not my intention. Some of the best people, in my opinion, the kindest, the most welcoming people that I've ever met are Christian. Were Christian and still are. But it just depends. It goes on a person by person basis. I'm pretty sure I've met some satanic followers, and they're pretty nice as well. I mean, not openly, because it's kind of a touchy subject, but like, people of all walks of life, you could believe in whatever you want to believe, as long as it doesn't trespass the safety and of other people. Then I don't really give two shits about it, to be honest. This movie was so fun. It did follow a very overdone theme of the whole evil Christians and the whole thing, but I liked it. I felt like they could have I had a few thoughts. They could have made it a little more gruesome, and the chase scenes. This is okay. This is my problem with the movie. The guys, they were drugged, but they managed to get up. They managed to run. They managed to get a silver platter. They managed to do all these things, but they couldn't manage to fight off 2 girls. And no anti-feminist thing here either. I'm a very big follower of the late China, the very great 9th wonder of the world. I like Xena. I like a lot of very powerful characters. I love it. And I do believe that women can be stronger, but in this case, their strength wasn't like, you know, they didn't talk about it. They didn't say, oh, they train MMA, or they're very good at shooting pistols. Like, we didn't get any of that information. They looked like just average girls, Christian followers, that did this terrible thing. And these guys are just normal guys as well. But I mean, you could at least try and fight them off. When you hit the girl with the silver platter, why didn't you keep on hitting her? Why didn't you get a knife and stab her? Like, it's your life. I know you're probably thinking that's gross, yeah, but you have to do what you have to do to survive. And then they're inside there, right? And then they start they light up the door, or they try to light up the whole place so that they could come out. They were about to run out, and they were prepared because they broke bottles, glass bottles, so they were prepared to attack, but they didn't because of the fire. Dude, I get it, it's creepy. I don't know what I would do, but like, just sitting down here, I have my opinion is that I would just run. For you cannot burn in a few seconds. There are like traditions and tribes and all of these things that people do where they walk over pits of fire and stuff like that. They're not dead, and I'm not telling you to do it at all. These are other traditions, other cultures and practices. But if they could do it, then you could do it too. It's your life. Like I said, they had so many opportunities to survive. Like the last 2 guys, the guy from Love, Simon and the Keean Johnson's character, they could have definitely survived. Another thing that I noticed is I was watching a YouTube video, and it was of the Love, Simon guy with, I don't know if it was a director. Well, he wasn't there in this one. And then Keean Johnson, the actor, obviously. He's not a character, I hope. And I noticed such a difference. Like, literally, the Love, Simon's actor that plays the character in that movie, he's a lot like that character. And I don't mean the negative, but he's just outgoing. He's your typical American actor. You know, like when I saw him speak, when I heard him speak and I saw his interview, I was like, I'm not surprised that he's an actor, because he just has every quality to be an actor. He's good, he's solid, he's outgoing, he has presence and charisma, and is very, very, very talkative. The other one, Keean Johnson, on the other hand, is very smiley. Like, he doesn't take the lead. I don't know if it was just that one, but I've seen some other interviews where he's a little like more like, you know, like laid back, like let me just enjoy whatever's going on, and like very smiley type of character. In this movie, he rarely smiles. He only smiles when he sees her at the beginning, because they start this flirtation game. But other than that, his character is like, oh, by the way, they like, dang, like you could tell that he really works out. You could tell. I did some research. I always do research. Like, you probably think like he doesn't do any research. He never knows the names. He's always messing everything up. I am messing everything up constantly in my real life, like without doing reviews and everything. But that's just me. But in my head, I do have the information. And he's a dancer. Like, he looked dehydrated, honestly. Like, the amount of body fat in his body is, like, I think the lowest that it could be. He looked really good. I'm not promoting that dehydration either, but as somebody like who works out constantly, who has been doing it for so long, I know how hard it is to get to that point. Maybe his body is just like that, but everybody, even if your body's just like that, you have to put a lot of work into it to get to that point. So that was really cool. But back to what I was saying, I just had to mention that, so kudos to you. Keean Johnson, his character is just so much different. That's when you notice that a person's a very good actor, when you watch interviews with them and they're a completely different person. I was like, at first I was kind of like their acting was but then I was like, no, that's the character. That's what the character that we're playing. With Alexis, I felt like she should have had a little more time to unravel the craziness, so that we could really take it in. And I feel like we didn't have that. Regardless of that, I felt that she did really good. She always does well. Alexandra Daddario, she won me over, and I love her in horror movies. I love her to death in horror movies. Also comedy, but horror is, my genre. I don't think I have anything else to say. The movie was amazing. It was cool, and I give it a rating of 8.5 out of 10 in its category. We summon the darkness. Thank you for watching.